Hi everyone, welcome to my latest video. I'm being shunned. Yes, I am being shunned. Why am I being shunned? Well, it all started when I had a conversation with my sister, and she was letting me know that my mother had left a voicemail for me that I apparently hadn't listened to, and my sister encouraged me not to listen to it because she felt like it was very hurtful and that it just wasn't a good thing to do. But of course, this got my best of me, and I wanted to know what this message was about. So I asked my sister to tell me, and she told me, it's the standard Jehovah's Witness crap my mom was always talking about. But of course, knowing me, I had to know exactly what this message said. And I'm sorry everyone, I was actually going to play the message, but I was so angered after hearing the message, I just deleted it. And I apologize, because otherwise I definitely would have put it out there. Because at this point, I'm being shunned, so who really cares? Um, Basically, my mother left me a message and basically stated that she could no longer have any social dealings with me. And she explained to me in this message what social dealings meant, which basically she meant no phone conversations, no texting, no having dinner, hanging out, basically being social in any way. She said, however, if there was something that I needed from her, she said that I could leave a voicemail and that she may return it or she may not. And she said that if I was sick or hurting or something, that I could call her. And I was like, wow, pretty much people that I don't talk to ever, I don't call them when I'm sick or hurting. You know what? There's a girl in the third grade I haven't talked to for the over 20 years, 30 years. Let me call her up. No, that's not what normal human beings do. So I will not be calling my mother up if I'm in pain or if I'm sick or if I'm gonna need something. I haven't needed anything in many, many years, and I don't really think I'm gonna need anything right now from her. Um, I'm making this video because I want people to know that being shunned is real. Like, for as your family shunning you and not wanting to deal with you at all, that's real. I have a brother who does not talk to me at all for any reason. Even when my mom was recently ill, he would not return my phone call. He returned my sister's phone call, but he won't return my phone call. Why, you may ask? Let me tell you why. Because I was baptized at age 12 as a Jehovah's Witness. You ask yourself, well, why did you get baptized at age 12? Well, the reason why I got baptized at age 12 was because my existence as a Jehovah's Witness child was horrific. It was horrific. I was unhappy all the time. My parents brought me before the elders for the slightest things, not making my bed, not doing things quickly as they wanted to, maybe having an attitude when they asked me to do something. Not that I was a horrible kid, I was just a kid. But all this stuff, I couldn't do anything right. No matter what I did, it was wrong. I couldn't live in this world of perfection that they had for me. But I realized when I was about 10 years old that pretty much living with my parents was like being a prisoner of war. I remember seeing this movie. It's a really old movie I watched, and it's called Hanoi Hilton, and it basically is a movie about POWs. And I related to the people in this movie, and I realized that was my life. Because my mother always told me, as long as you live under my roof, you have to follow my rules. So I told myself at 10 that, hey, you have 8 more years until you can leave. And until you can leave, you're going to have to toe the line. You can't do anything wrong. You're going to have to do everything they say. And so my parents really wanted me to get baptized. And so finally I gave in and I got baptized. Little did I know that a decision that I made when I was 12 years old was going to cost me my mother and my brother. But it has. Because I made a decision to be a Jehovah's Witness. Now my sister never got baptized. And because she never got baptized, she never had to deal with the fact that to be shunned, because they feel like they still can convert her. So they will have conversations with her, but they will not have conversations with me about anything. So today I kind of feel like, in a way, my mother died, because I'll never really get to talk to her ever again. Like it probably won't happen. I'm not really holding out any hope of her leaving something that she's been a part of for 40 years. This is a woman that knew both of the people, the mother and father, and the daughter that molested me when I was between ages 3 through 6. The mother and the father of this couple that were Jehovah's Witnesses are now dead. The daughter is still alive, which my mother is friends with this person, and she loves to have conversations with that person. She'll talk to them all day long. But because I'm not in good standings in Jehovah's Kingdom Hall, then I can't even be said I can't even be spoken to in passing. I just find this to be ridiculous. What people do for the sake of religion is ridiculous. And even if you did actually follow what the Bible said, I believe if you read the Bible, you'll see that it said that one of the greatest commandments was to love the Lord God and to love thy neighbor. I think I'm more than a neighbor. My mother, just to give you a little background on who she is, I mean, I was born into a family where both of my parents are crazy narcissists. Both of them are narcissistic. And being the fact that this Jehovah's Witness situation warped their already warped sense of who they were, it wasn't really a great situation. When I was about probably between, I think I was about 3 years old, my mother decided that life was just too much and she wanted to kill herself. And she felt like it was too much for her and it was too much for me. So she decided to take me and herself and try to kill both of us. Meanwhile, I have a sister. Apparently, she didn't care enough about her to take her, but she really wanted me to die with her. Gee, thanks. Well, my sister, her whole life, my mother has always hated her. Why? Because my sister lied to her when she was 5 years old. My mother has told me that she wants to give my sister a fork when she dies. But then she changed her mind and said that she wanted to give her $1. So that way her will won't be contested. So this is the type of person that I'm dealing with right now. Well, actually, I won't be really dealing with her because she's made it very clear from her message that she really didn't want to have anything to do with me. And just so you know, back in probably, I think it was October, I actually was in the hospital and I was sick. And my mother never knew about it. Never knew. First of all, you'd have to know her to understand it. She doesn't care about that. My mother has never told my sister or myself that she's ever loved us. Not a day in my life. I just want to let other people know that are considering becoming a Jehovah's Witness that if a family member or yourself or whomever you think you're going into this thing and that you're not going to be required to shun your family, even if they're not Jehovah's Witnesses, you're going to be required to shun them. They're going to want you to have limited access to these people. They want to control everything about your life. It's a cult. Jehovah's Witnesses is a cult. Shunning is not something that is biblical. But I am being shunned. And, the thought of me, losing my mother isn't really a happy moment. But I told my sister when my mother does finally leave this earth and pass away, that we're going to have a great side service. And we're not inviting anyone except our close family. Because Jehovah's Witnesses have had my mother my whole entire life. And I don't plan on sharing her when she's dead. I think they've had enough. And they've taken my brother away as well. I mean, it's one thing when a person dies and they're like really gone and you know that there's no hope of really getting them back. But it's another thing knowing that you have a mother and a brother out in the world somewhere that won't speak to you only because you question the religion that they are a part of and the fact that you don't believe the way that they believe. God gives us free will, but you don't get free will when you're a Jehovah's Witness. You can only do what the Watchtower Bible Tract Society says. And please do understand The moment that you say that I no longer want to do that, you'll be shunned.